It's like, you know what? It's like literally 8 Mile. You're about to choke when you're about to present it. That's what it's like. Happy Friday to you all. Keith, you come on the hoop. I want to welcome Del Boy. I welcome Gaz from the Celtic Appreciation page. And the man that's got over 120,000 views on a vlog on one video. Mr. Judy Talks. Good selection of people today. I think it's a good old selection box.
It's a good selection box. I think Dale's the bounty. And I haven't got teasers. No, I'm kidding, don't Dale. It's just because I knew you. I thought I'd have a dig at
you. Bounty hunter, mate. You watch your fucking back.
All right, before we get into it, folks, these three people have their own social media platforms. First of all, Gaz does the Celtic Appreciation page on Facebook. He does have Twitter, and he also has Instagram. Now, you're on the three of them as well, aren't you?
Yes, mate. Celtic Supporters Podcast at Celtic67 on Twitter, Celtic Supporters Podcast on YouTube, and Del Boy O'Reilly on Facebook, mate.
And yourself, Judy, go on.
Judy Talks on YouTube. I'm sure if you've watched any Celtic stuff, you've probably seen the vlogs. We love doing that sort of content. Instagram, it's Justin Gardner X, which I've just tagged Keith in a story. So if he'll repost it, you'll see that. And then Judy19X on Twitter, where I post most of the press conferences we do at Celtic with players like Cal, Kyogo, Maeda, and then we speak to Big Ange here and there, which is great because he's a big honey, isn't he? He's brilliant. He's great to speak to. So so that's me. But no, cheers for having me on, mate. Good to get a wee Friday, innit? It is a Friday. Friday night chat. It's good to get a wee Friday night chat about Celtic, and it's good to be back because winter break, obviously a bit dull, no football, watching conference in England and Championship or whatever. But it's good to be watching Celtic again. So yeah.
I was too busy watching the NFL. I was trying to keep myself occupied.
See, I do like the NFL, but I like it for the Super Bowl. But see everything else, I'm just like 4 hours. I can't watch it. But Super Bowl, I do love a Super Bowl Sunday. Great.
Right, Del, we start off with yourself. Are you nervous about tomorrow whatsoever?
No, I'm looking forward to it, mate, because I don't think there'll be massive wholesale changes. I think you'll probably still see maybe 4 or 5 in for the Hibs game, but as you've got up on the screen, I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing my namesake, Mr. O'Reilly, making his debut. Been quite a lot made about the guy. I don't know too much about him myself, but he's obviously been playing down south, so I don't see why he can't get straight into the team. Hopefully maybe see Jota getting a run for the start as well. But it's a plastic pitch, so you're always kind of nervous going into the kind of games. Obviously, well documented in the last 3 or 4 months, the muscle injuries we've been picking up. But the depth is there now, the quality's there for Ange to make changes. And this is something we probably wouldn't have been talking about even just before Christmas. So well, I would say I'm more excited to see a couple of the fringe players coming in and making a wee bit of a name for themselves other than nervous.
5:30 kickoff as well. Going to get the whole day to have a few drinks to chill out, you know.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm night shift. I've been night shift for the last 6 nights, and I'm working the full weekend as well. So I would imagine the away boys, the Mora, it'll be a fucking messy one for the lads.
I don't even know the attendance it is. Does anyone know the attendance, guys?
Yeah,
you know the attendance?
Tomorrow is 1,600, and then Hearts next week is 1,000. Which, before we go into the attendance and allocation, which we'll probably speak about the Old Firm or the Glasgow Derby, whatever you could call it, Celtic did cut Hearts allocation to 1,000, so I can see why they're doing the same back. However, if you are travelling to Alloa tomorrow, I would not advise it. However, it is a very easy jump over the fence number if you want to go into the away end. So
I can get in for the railway as well, but
you get one of these spare high-vis jackets.
Need a special key, mate, to do that.
Gaz.
1,600 for Alloa, and I think it's 1,200. No, 1,000 bang on for Hearts away, which is brutal. So.
Right, you were saying that there won't be much wholesale changes. Jack and Mac, is it the day for him he starts tomorrow?
100%, it has to.
I think so. Aye.
It has
got to be.
What do you think, Gaz?
I think he definitely has to. With Kyogo obviously missing up front. Maeda obviously got off the ground running quickly Monday night. But in terms of, I think it's Giakoumakis' time to shine. I know people will say it's only Alloa, it's only League One, but as you know, Heath, I've grew up loving the Scottish Cup. It's my favourite tournament. I do love the Scottish Cup, to be fair. And there's a wee bit added spice to it, the fact that it's Barry Ferguson and Bob Malcolm, obviously in charge of Alloa. So it shouldn't be a problem tomorrow. But these games, these 5:30 kickoffs on a Saturday night, I don't care for them too much when we're away from home. But I think we should get the job done with whoever's up front.
Always reminds me of Peterhead away. Remember that game he played? Half-forward kickoff.
Peter Reid for Peter Heed as deed Volvo for sale.
They'll classics are the best. They'll classics are the best, mate.
The thing is, as a club like Celtic, you never underestimate your opponents. I mean, it's happened a few times, and it never works out well. I think Ange is one of the managers though whose eye is focused on a game, and he picks tactics based on who we're against. I mean, we've got guys in now. I mean, we've just got the guy in from Portugal who runs I can't remember the name of the page, but he's now the new football analyst for Celtic. Yeah. So exactly. So we've got guys in like that who they've spent the last 4, 5, 6 years of their career simply watching clips on Scout 7, Sky Sports, BT, watching clips to understand how players play, understand the leagues, understand transitions of play, understand formations, tactics, everything like that. So having that expertise in with Ange, I think, makes it great. We've seen obviously with the signings that we've done in the window, which is great, of players like O'Reilly coming in, and Ange got that over the line, and then the other Riley, when he spoke to Ange, and Ange was like, from what I heard, and obviously I've got a wee bit of contact here and there inside football, and I never really try to mention it, but from what the region was, it was more or less he was getting 2k more a week at Middlesbrough, and they had to debate on the decision, and Ange was like, well, listen, if you need to have a think about that choice of whether you come to Celtic or whether you go to Middlesbrough, you're not right for this football club, and rightly so, and that's the way I look at it as well. And with that, when you tie everything in together, and Ange and guys like John Kennedy, who's not very well liked, I must admit, I quite like John Kennedy, but guys have been there at the club, they understand how the club works. Ange is very much you could use the word family knit as a unit. He likes to play like that. He was successful at Yokohama Marina as well. We're playing that style, having players playing for each other, playing together. So the thing Ange won't do, and I'm very, very confident Ange won't do, is underestimate a team. I think the best thing to actually happen to Ange, I think, was losing that first Old Firm or Glasgow derby against Gerrard, because now he knows what it feels like. Now he knows what it's like for the fans to be on your back, for you to lose that derby, for you to feel that hurt like we all feel as fans. And ever since then, he's come out and it's been all gung-ho, if you want to use that term, of being like, we do everything, and he's stuck by his system of play. Remember at the start of the season where everybody was going, he's not doing this, he's not doing that. We were losing points against Livingston at home. He made the wrong choice of making Gukama. I don't think that was the wrong choice. I don't think that was his choice of Gukama.
That's a gamble you take in football.
Yeah, and I don't think that was his. But at the end of the day, he's taking responsibility, like Sir Alex Ferguson was. And don't anybody who's watching is maybe not sure. Don't think I'm ever comparing Ange Postecoglou to Sir Alex Ferguson. We'll see how he does in 10 years. But that whole thing of, remember, Sir Alex Ferguson used to do anything to defend his players. He used to do anything, and I think that's the kind of guy Ange is like. He will do anything to defend these players.
Going back to that conversation, Jody,
style. You know what I mean?
I was watching that interview he done with the Australian team back in 2017, where he's talking about the family, saying, "Look, when you go out that field, you should think about your family members, your cousin, your auntie, and think they're with you. And then you're talking about Sir Alex. I remember that press conference where Sir Alex done with the dressing room, and then you see him as well in Carrington talking about the Man United team in that meeting. Very similar, very, very similar. Yeah. But Del, I'm gonna go with yourself. Regards to January, look at the 3 lads in the door from Japan. Johnny Kenny in, which we don't know a lot about. Obviously, he played the Sligo Rovers, and then this guy from MK Dons, Matt O'Reilly.
who's a player.
How did you feel? How did you feel Monday night after that game?
Oh, I was at the game with the wee man. Especially the first half, I thought the performance overall, the intensity, Hatate was just phenomenal. Just looking at the bench and walking up to the stadium, it just felt totally different. It felt like a cup final. That's what it felt like going to the game on Monday night, a cup final. You could feel the atmosphere walking up for the train station up to the ground and the singing. Once we got in there, it was not just the Green Brigade and the boys, that the fans were united for the first time in a very, very long time. The singing was ringing around the full stadium, and it was brilliant to be back after that length of time. And obviously the signings coming in now, we've got a player in every position more or less. You look at Ralston and Jota on the bench the other night. So
even say we've got a player, we've got two players in each position.
That's what I mean. Sorry, two players in every position. So it's amazing just thinking back to the St Johnstone game, and we had 18, 14 players out to now Ange having a headache who to put on the bench. And Monday night was phenomenal, and tomorrow's a big game, and you'll obviously look forward to the Derby game after I go off pod. But what I will say before I go, and again, thanks for letting me jump on for a wee 15 minutes. The old cliche is the next game's the biggest.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to obviously lose tomorrow. It's Scottish Cup, big competition. We're going for the treble, but I think we really need to concentrate on Tynecastle and obviously.
Can I stop you there for a minute? So if
Yeah.
you said in that August we're going with the treble, I think everybody would have laughed at that. But it's that
100%.
confidence. It's that
Yes,
confidence.
mate. I was one of them. We lost the league with 25 points last year, and the football was fucking horrendous. It was so bad. Even though we watched 95% of the games in the house, it was such a bad time to be a Celtic fan. But
yeah.
I'm 40 this year. I've seen Celtic at our very, very worst through the 90s when I had my season ticket. I've seen us through our best with Martin O'Neill and Brendan Rodgers, and now with Big Ange. So you need to take the good with the bad. The young team have been very, very spoiled in recent times, and unless you're somebody like Juddy that's got a kind of old head and young shoulders and has got a good knowledge of football and knows and knows that as a Celtic fan and living in the Glasgow Goldfish Bowl, the ups and downs are going to be there for the rest of their life. So what I will say before I go is just to the Celtic fans, and especially the young ones, is enjoy the good times. Take the bad times. Take the bad times well. Take it in the chin, because we stick out a lot, especially myself on social media, and that I'm fucking terrible for it. But
you don't say.
So you need to give it out. You need to take it. It's Friday night. You guys enjoy your beer. I'm going to build railways down in the deepest, darkest Ayrshire, unfortunately, this weekend. So, it was a pleasure, Keith. Thank you very much for
might
having
see
me.
McGeady or James Forrest down there. James Forrest with a bottle of Bucky.
Running about like that. He's fucking
Dale,
But,
you need to come pick up your Christmas present. I got
I know, mate. I know.
I got Dale a custom bottle of Buckfast wine. It says Celtic Supporters Podcast, piling on the agony amongst finest. It's an absolute belter. So do you know what we'll do, Dale? We'll get it, and I'll bring it to you on the day of the derby.
Yes, mate. I'll be driving into the derby anyway. So, guys, listen, it's been a pleasure. I'll be in touch. Hopefully, get you on the podcast in the next couple of months. But have a great weekend, Trips. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy the game tomorrow.
Let me know what you're up to, mate.
Cheers, man.
Aye, God bless, guys. Take care.
See you later, mate.
What a gentleman, absolute gentleman. Pleasure. So, folks, give him a follow. Celtic Supporters Podcast, absolutely unbelievable. I started watching a bit of it there and then. Some of the people he's got on, unbelievable. Guys, I'm going to start with you, right? You're talking about the Scottish Cup, big memories. We've went down the road with this. Is it the treble the best one?
No, for me, the quadruple treble against Hearts.
Yeah.
Purely because I don't know if it's more because of the whole COVID thing, the delayed cup final, we had to wait for it. A lot of people say that by the time the game came around, it didn't feel the same. There was no fans. It didn't seem that big a celebration. But I genuinely, I've said to you before, I genuinely think it's the greatest ever Scottish Cup final in my lifetime. I think it's the best cup final in my lifetime I've ever seen.
Even without the fans there, but I think that without the fans, it doesn't give that stature, to be honest.
The thing is, I think if the fans were there, and we go 2-0 up at half time, the game's done, and we go in and score 4 or 5. But I think when Hearts got the pulled a goal back in the first half, second half, we did what we normally did under Neil Lennon, and we just collapsed. And we didn't know where we were. We were chasing our shadows, chasing our tails, and then before you know it, it's 2 each, and you're up backs against the wall, and you're giving everything. And when that ball hit the net, when Christopher Ayer smashed the ball past Craig Gordon, I don't even know. It was a blur.
All I can think of is that rain hitting off the net going down when he smashed it in.
Aye.
Jody, what do you think? Best cup final, Scottish Cup final?
Do you know, and I've always said that, I mean, we've spoken Dale's podcast, when I left school and I went to work, I never really got to a lot of Celtic games, and my dad, because of my dad's profession, he worked 4 on and 2 off. So the thing that I've always said, the reason why I love Celtic so much was because when I got to go, it made it even more special. Like you, who doesn't live in Scotland, when you come over, it makes it even more special. Even though I'm Celtic daft, mate, but I mean, memories at Hampden, maybe not Scottish Cup. I think the one under Ange for me was my favourite one, because it's the first one where we had a bit of a Celtic audience because of what I do, and the Premier Sports Cup final, and Kyogo coming in, and everybody wrote Ange off, everybody wrote Kyogo off, saying, "Oh, who's this guy? Like J-League Japan, like come on," or Ange like Australia, come on, like people wrote them off, and then for that to happen, for me to be there, that's in my eyes, that's the best memory I have. Plus, I've got it on video now, so I'll never lose it. So when I've got my great grandwains, and I'll be like, right, this is what your granddad used to get up to. But no, of course, every moment for Celtic is special. And I know we win so much, we do. We're a bit. One thing I always say is, and anytime I go on interviews or do podcasts, one thing I always say is how lucky I am to be a Celtic fan. I don't think that's one thing a lot of Celtic fans realise. You're born into this club, and it is what it is, but you're so lucky. When you think back at all the cups we've won, all the players we've had, how lucky you are to be a Celtic. I mean, I could be a Motherwell fan or a Albion Rovers fan, and there's nothing wrong with any clubs. But when you look at it, and if you to take a step back, like after the podcast tonight, and go, how lucky I am to be a Celtic fan, it takes you back a bit. So for me, Ange this season got to be that. But if not, the cup win against Motherwell to secure the treble. Not was it
treble?
Was it?
I
think
double
it was
treble.
Double treble.
Double treble.
Aye, double treble. Because I was there that day, and it was on. I'm sure it was on the 19th of May, which was my birthday. Which I'm quite lucky at that as well. Quite a lot of cup finals I played on my birthday, the 19th of May. So I know, great day out. But yeah, I'm very. Although I don't know what age you are, Keith and guys, but I'm only 24, so my life.
Gaz getting the Zimmer frying at this right now.
Yeah,
so
I've been quite lucky in the sense that in my period of time we've been brought up, I've seen Celtic win more than what Rangers have. And you don't want to come on and talk about Rangers, but I've been very lucky. However, my dad talks about when Rangers were bossing it, and that's the thing. You're just lucky, and like you said, football's a roller coaster. You never get too high in the highs, you never get too low in the lows. You just take it as it is. So I've been buzzing with the time I've enjoyed at Celtic, but for me this season it's been even that more special, mate. Keith, what's your favourite? What's your favourite?
It has to be Tom Rogic. It has to be Tom Rogic.
Were you there though? Were you there?
I wasn't there. No, I was over in
I said the one I was there. So what's your favourite kind of cup moment that you've been at.
I've been to two.
So
I've been to a cup final against Kilmarnock and we lost in 2012, and that was when we won.
Van Tornhout?
Don't come back.
I've been to Hampden. I've been to Hampden 3 times, and we were beaten that time. And Charlie McGrew missed the penalty against St Mirren in the last kind of few minutes that season, the 2012-13 one. I was at the Ross County game where Stivchenko had to come on. Ambrose got sent off. He scored in the first minute. 3-1, and then I was at the Kilmarnock game. So Hampden is a no-go for me. Mm-hmm. So that's why I don't touch cup finals.
Don't fucking come back.
That's it. I'm not going. I'll be going there for the Ireland game when we smashes. Don't be worrying about that.
Do you know my dad? That's a great stat. My dad has every old firm he's been at, or Glasgow Derby. Like, I apologise if people get on at me for saying old firm. It's just when I was brought up, it was always called old firm. It's a hard habit to get out of, right? And I don't care. But every old firm that my dad has been to at Celtic Park, and he was born in 1964, Celtic have never been beat. 100% win record.
Aye.
I think he's had 2 or 3 draws, he said, from that period. So see the second. He's getting a ticket. Obviously here. There we go. It's right next to me. So make sure. But I know he's. That's a good stat though. But there's loads of great cup moments. Do you know that? And like I said, how lucky we are to be Celtic fans. How many cup moments or special moments has there been?
I'm gonna go through the comments first, right? Boise was on literally before we started this. The Boise bus. He's a good lad, Russell Bryce of Axon. Used to be Axon. What a man.
Well, I quite like Boise. He's a nice guy. What's he saying it?
And the Celts as well. We're on. Stephen and the boys are good podcast. About time they went video podcast. I've said it loads of times, but he's gone. They moved up. I watched the New Year's special. They doing absolute gas. It was. We're gonna talk about Matt O'Reilly. Jody, I'm surprised you weren't down at the stadium yesterday.
No, so the reason why I wasn't at the stadium, however, I don't know if you've seen my tweet. You know, I've got quite a lot of contacts in England. That's kind of how I started. So yesterday for me was more of a focus on reaching out to a few players who'd played with O'Reilly at whether Fulham. I know a couple of boys at MK Dons, but not many. But it was more the Fulham. Kind of setup. There's a couple of comments said. One of them said, "Young dude, 24 years old. I'm older than your dad. I went to Parkhead for your dad." Like, great fucking Scottish insult that.
I wish you a happy 50th next week. You know, we'll follow the page.
But yeah, so I'd spoke to. I try not to. The relationships I built up in football are great, and it's great being a journalist. However, you know, Keith, I speak to you all the time. I never come across as a journalist, but I spoke to a few of the guys who'd played with him and asked, "Listen, what's your opinion of him?" And they all said he's willing to play. He's got great talent. A lot of them, like 4 or 5 of them, said his technique was superb, which they highlighted his technique. Now, a player for Celtic, the way Celtic play, especially under Ange, technique is vital. Do you know what I mean? The way we play that fast, quick tempo, that attacking football, inverted full backs, with that press, like you see Celtic do all season. So a lot of them said that about him, which is good. And that's all the plaudits I need. You can have as many journalists say he's done this, he's done that, black and white stats. But if I've spoke to players who have played actually with him or been involved in that setup and they say these things about him, that's what kind of makes me happy. Do you know what I mean?
What do you think, guys? When you were seeing we were linked to him, I was like, this better not be another Royley disaster. You know, there's me slapping him, but just like, we have this guy, and then the deal breaks down.
Well, what do you think? This is the thing, and what we'll start with is the whole Riley McGree deal. I'd put on a post on Celtic FC Appreciation page that the deal was done, awaiting international clearance or work permit or whatever it was, and you know, because I'd obviously seen it on certain media outlets and newspaper outlets, and I thought, right, deal's done. Let's get it on the page. Let's get it sorted. And I came in for a lot of criticism for putting out the story, or don't you feel silly? Well, no, because and Judy will know we're in the business of trying to get a story.
The deal, no, but the thing is, guys, the deal was done, right? So a bit of insight again, which I don't really share in social media because of I'm quite involved within that side of the football world, and I don't like to share stuff because then your trust gets lost within people. However, now that all that's finished, I can say without naming names, the deal was done. A deal was agreed for round about 13k, 14k a week for him to come to Celtic. And then his agent got another deal for Middlesbrough, which was about 2k more, which was about 15 to 16k, that sort of region. Mm-hmm. Then what happened is, of course, if you're an agent and you're getting a 10% cut, you're thinking, boom, there's an extra grand for me every week, or there's an extra 7 ton for me every week. That then puts the fear into the player. Now, whether that's up to the boy or not, the player, or whether that's up to the agent, we can't decide. But then when the call gets made and he has to make a call to Ange and he says, I'm not too sure on what to do, that's when Ange says to him, well, if you're not sure on what to do, this club isn't right for you. Mm-hmm. And in my eyes, I completely agree with that, because when you come to Celtic, and the late great Betty Auld always said, when you become a Celtic player, it's a way of life. You don't just play, you become immortal. You do. Anybody who plays with Celtic is always remembered for playing with Celtic. So that's what happened in that situation. And it's unfortunate, and the boy needs took a lot of stick from Celtic fans who maybe don't understand it. And I get that, but football's a different world from what it was before I was even born, of players used to come to the club for the stature. Now football is a business. Money talks.
You look what happens, like some of the players, when someone they're literally going in to have a talk or sign the deal, straight into that trophy room on the right hand side. Like, to walk in that trophy room, see that European Cup and all the other trophies we've won, even the fan fair play awards. Yeah. Madness. Why would you pick a championship team? Look, I understand he's played in the championship and he played well for Birmingham. One of my mates is a Birmingham fan, said, Keith, we couldn't afford him. We could not afford to keep him. And but look at regards to Matt O'Reilly, his stats are good. His stats are pretty good.
He is, and he's very good. And a lot of the plaudits which I receive was he's a step up from that league. A lot of the journalists and presenters who cover that league as well said that he's a step up from that league, which is good. And when he came out in his interview and he said that money was never a motivation for me, it was always progressing my career. And that's very, very rare to find in football. And if he comes here, he's what we get these players like Edouard Dembele, all these players who kind of come along who are attacking players who they love the club, but then as soon as money comes along, they're gone. I think Matt O'Reilly could be one of the players who goes, do you know what? The grass isn't greener. Paddy Roberts is a good mate of mine, and he spoke about it all the time. And good luck to him. He signed with Sunderland today, so good luck, Paddy, mate. I hope you do well. I'm going down to see him very soon. But a lot of players now, once they realise they've left Celtic, the grass isn't greener. Gary Hooper, do you know what I mean? Like players like that. When you come to a club like Celtic, you've got 60,000 fans every single week shouting your name, cheering you on. You play for a cause, you play for a team. That extra 4, 5, maybe 10 grand, sometimes 20 grand extra a week, of course, is great for you and your family. But then you ruin your legacy. And Matt O'Reilly's already come out before he even signed with Celtic and said that, for me, money's never been a motivation. It's about me being the best football player I can be. And for me, that's what I like in a football player. Someone who wants to go out and play for the jersey, fight for the team. And I think he'll be a great shout. And I think it's great business as well. I think it was one of the ones where Ange came out, great with the media again. I done a press conference the other week, Keith, and it was all mainstream media, so Sky, BBC, whatever, blah blah blah. And then it was us, Celtic here, so it was our turn. And he was quite rigid and very short-answered with everybody else. And then when it came to me and he sees the Celtic stuff in the background, I go, "Hi, Ange, how you doing?" He perks up and he has a good... So he's very, very strict in what he says in the media, and he's very, very false in saying, "Oh, there's no more signings." And then as soon as the option comes up of Tom Rogic or an attacking midfielder, or even Kyogo going abroad to play in the international call-ups, he secures a deal for a player who, realistically, is better than the league he's playing in. We've got him at a great deal. The board have backed it as well, and it is looking good. But what annoys me in that sense, Keith and Gaz, I'm sure you'll agree, is if the board had backed Rodgers in that sense. I mean, remember John McGinn? I mean, look what he's doing now. Stuff like that's upsetting, and you not go back into the past. But But for me, Matt O'Reilly, and do you know what? I'll eat my words, but I think he will be a great servant to Celtic Football Club.
I can see a Joe Lely there, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah, by the way, Joe Ledley, what a player! What a player.
So, guys, we're going to talk about Matt O'Reilly predictions. What do you think? Is he gonna start tomorrow, or is he going to be dumped in against Hearts?
I don't see him being put in tomorrow. Purely based on I don't like when we throw new signings in a Scottish Cup game, especially when we're away from home. I don't. Like Clyde. I just don't. I think we should be a bit cautious. He's not a name that I knew when the name came up. I was a bit like, okay. He's the least Norwegian or Danish name you could ever hope to meet. But then again, Thomas Delaney for Denmark.
That's good to say, Delaney. Yeah.
There must have been a bit of Scandinavia kicking about Ireland in the 70s and 80s, so I don't know. But
that was Thomas Graveson's dad plowing it out over here.
No, but I mean, listen, he's in terms of there was a guy on Super Scoreboard last night up here saying it was for one of the MK Don's podcasts, and he was giving a lowdown on Matt Riley, and he was saying that it was too good for the league potentially. Likes to play a high press, but going back to touch on the Riley McGree and the Matt O'Reilly comparison kind of thing. The thing I like more about Matt O'Reilly is the fact that he said something in the interview with Celtic TV yesterday, and he says, when I came off the phone with Ange, I knew I wanted to come. I knew after that one conversation I wanted to come, and I thought that's the kind of player you want at your club. As Judy says, no, a guy that's motivated by money. I can remember, was it Mikael Lustig came away with, or Samaras came away with a quote years ago. It says, at the end of my career, I'd rather count my medals than my money. I thought it was a great quote. Do you know what I mean? And I'd agree with any of that. But for me, no, I wouldn't be sticking in. I wouldn't be sticking in O'Reilly tomorrow. Just maybe if we go 2-0 up and we're clearing the game, then yeah, possibly stick him on, game a wee run out. But I think it'll be much like the lineup for Monday night.
Yeah, I think what you said as well. Any player though, and in any walk of life who comes from anywhere, if they don't understand, and that's not just for Celtic, and that is for Rangers as well, even though whatever they've been through in new club, all that kind of stuff, right? Without getting into all that, if you're a football player and you're debating, or you've got a 5% thought, a 95% sure and a 5% not sure to come to Celtic or Rangers or come to a club like Celtic, the club isn't right for you.
Mm-hmm.
When you come to Celtic, you're expected to win. You're expected to put in everything that you have as a professional to make that work. I mean, prime example, Tony Ralston. Tony Ralston was played, and at the start of the season, I remember when Tony Ralston played against West Ham, he was the worst player in the park. He was awful. The pre-season friendly, remember? He was terrible. Lost his man every single time. He was awful. Now he's come in to become one of the best players in the league. Because, and when I spoke to Dan O'Dean, the press conference, and we spoke about players like Anthony Ralston, and he said how a top professional he was, how he was so committed, how he understood the club, and he's been here for so long. If you do not understand what it takes to play for Celtic Football Club, then you should never be at the club.
100%. Like, as I said, once you walk in them doors, you're literally like,
you're a mortal, mate.
That's about the stadium, Toby.
Look at players like John Hartson, who come up. He's Welsh, played with West Ham, played with club down south. I mean, but he's a mortal to Celtic for what he achieved for
and a Celtic tattoo on his arm as well now.
Yeah, no, John.
He does like getting it out. To be fair, he likes getting his tattoo out. To be fair, no, but he's a superb guy. Very, very difficult to get hold of, but very, very, very good.
John's a great guy. He gets a lot of requests for podcasts and whatever, but you see the amount of stuff he does for charity. I speak to John here and there and quite regularly, because a lot of the boys say I look like John because I'm losing my hair. But I know he's John's a great guy, and he's one of the guys who just understands Celtic.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And I think that's why fans love him so much, because he understands Celtic. Same with Sutton as well.
And I think what's great about him as well is the fact that a lot of the time he refers to us as we.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's we when he's doing the punditry in the games. I think it's we this and we that. And you know, Chris Sutton gets involved as well, and him and Coisty tonight. Sutton and Coisty were having a right ding dong about Kevin Clancy and Scott Brown and all the rest of it. But it was great. It's great banter and all the rest of it. But it's players like that you need, and obviously Matt O'Reilly's got a bit of Celtic connection in him. Coached with Peter Grant at Fulham. Went to school with Paddy Roberts. Played with Stefan Johansson. Potentially could be international teammates as well. So you know he's got that kind of Celtic convention.
Speaking of Stefan Johansson, it was mad to think we signed him in January. He's a January signing, and he was outstanding for us. You know, like you go back to the January signings. I was obviously I made you about a few of them, and I was like, look at the likes of Robbie Keane, Craig Bellamy, Paddy Roberts that came in January. You remember his debut against Aberdeen? He scored 2 goals. You know, it's just Lustig is my favourite January signing of all time, or Rogic, because look how long they've been committed to
longevity.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
Who would you put up there, Judy, as the best January signing since 2007?
Oh, God, it's quite a hard one. January signings. See, when you think about it, though, it's like trying to think of January signings.
Comment below, folks.
Here's one for you. Who do you think's been the best signing?
It better not be Marvin Comber.
Oh no. So I done a Q&A on Instagram last week, and somebody asked me who's my favourite all-time Celtic signing, and I tagged Carlton Cole in it. No, but who's been the best signing for Celtic, do you think, since, let's say, 2010?
Are we talking about in terms of names alone, or what they gave to the club, or length?
For me, I've got to go Tom Rogic.
That's a good shout.
2010. Lustig was great. Lustig was great, but for me, it's got to be Tom Rogic. Think January signings. What a horrible thing that is. That's a question for Mastermind, Keith. I'm going to need to look that up.
Look at Lee. As much as Lee Griffiths will be in there because he scored over 100 goals for us.
Yeah,
Chris Commons,
it's just unfortunate.
Armstrong,
so much personal problems that he's ruined his career. But I appreciate Lee Griffiths for what he done with Celtic, especially what he done with Scotland as well. So, but unfortunately, that's football, and look at guys like Paul Merson. Personal problems do involve themselves in football, and it's just unfortunate that he lived in a time where social media was so relevant and so out there that it affected him. So I wish Lee.
Henrik Larsson was not a January signing. He was signed in the summer and he made his debut against Hibs.
550,000.
You've got like Samaras and Griffiths obviously stick out for what
Sammy.
they gave to the club.
I love Sammy, man.
But
big game player though. Do you know what I mean, guys? Drink. I love Sammy for what he done, but he couldn't kick his arse against Partick Thistle. But he'd go out and fucking have the game of his life against Rangers or fucking. Do you know what I mean?
And especially in Europe, he was unbelievable in Europe.
Yeah.
Lenny always says he's the kind of player that can get a manager the sack. You know what I mean? But you know what? See the one January signing for me that I actually feel really sorry for, and I feel like he came in at the wrong time. He came in at the wrong squad. Robbie Keane. Robbie Keane never won anything at Celtic. He came up peak Robbie Keane. Scored 16 goals in like 17 appearances and genuinely never won a thing. And I feel so bad because if anybody deserved it, he deserved it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, Robbie Keane was unbelievable.
Robbie Keane's a player. Remember Roy Keane's debut though? Clyde? Oh my
Clyde,
God. Jesus.
Was
that the game where Naka scored the free kick in like the 3rd minute or something? And then we get beat 2-1. Was that game?
Maybe. I know it was at Broadwood.
Yeah, because I remember I went with my dad and we were late and fucking. I'm sure Naka scored a free kick and then we get beaten. But for me, I loved Sammy. Great player, especially what he done with guys like JB. That's what our club's about. Like that whole family, like everything, charity, all that kind of stuff. I loved Sammy, but he was either a fucking a Fab Ice Lolly or he was a fucking Carolina Reaper. Do you know what I mean?
Here's one for you. Here's one for you. He wasn't
Right,
at the club for long, but he made a big impact when he came in January. Barry Robson.
I like Barry Robson.
I love Barry Robson.
His debut against Aberdeen.
Yeah,
free
he scored
kick.
penalties, right? And you know my name, Juddy 19. 19's my book. I love Barry because he was number 19, right? He scored penalties, right? He converted set pieces. He was hard as nails in the middle of the park. He fought for the jersey. I mean, when have you ever seen something come out about Barry Robson that he was a prick or he done something wrong?
Aye.
He was just a right old hard man. One of the last hard men that we've actually had.
Him and Hartley. Hartley came in January as well.
Kind of players who just they went through players. They would run over players, but then they would help them up and go, right, get up, you prick, and get on.
Aye.
I like that with football. That's the way I was brought up.
And Scott Brown came on record and said that Paul Hartley made him the player who he was.
Yeah, like they players do like. Like I said, I'm quite young, so I look at players like Hartley, Young Vinegar, Hess, like all they kind of that's my kind of
Young Vinegar.
So good, but like we said, but Barry Robson, I love Barry Robson. He was fucking brilliant. He was just hard as nails. He was one
that penalty against Rangers. I was at that game.
Yeah, he ran.
Do you know what? I was at that game as well, Keith, and I actually turned my back when we had the penalty. My mate's like, what are you doing? I was like, I can't watch. And I just held the roar. And oh my days, man, it was crazy.
That was a sweater of a day. Pure sun was peaking at 12 o'clock.
That was the second game. We beat them. Vinegar scored 3-2 in the last minute, midweek. And we beat them on the Saturday or the Sunday. But for me, another January signing who I love, and I still love him, Ryan Christie. I know Celtic fans won't agree with that, but I thought Ryan Christie won us a lot of cups, gave us a lot of great nights, a lot of great days out.
He's not right. I agree with that in a sense that he was a good signing for Celtic. He was a good servant to the club. He helped in the process of winning trophies. However, he's not one of the great. He's not up there with the greatest January signings. I can't even remember who was signed in January. Where did I get this? Because
Andres Hinkle.
Chris Commons.
Comment was unbelievable.
January signings for Celtic. Where am I finding this?
Sturchenko.
Either soccer base or something.
I know he won't be in my top 10, but he's still at the club. Scott Bain, new deal.
Listen,
74 games.
He's took it.
Treble goalie.
He's a bit Marmite, isn't he? He's a bit Marmite.
Right. But before we go any further, right, and whether people agree with it or not, I don't care, right? But Scott Bain, right? I could have been in goals for Celtic the treble season. Nobody shot into us, mate. We were that good that nobody anywhere near us. We
had a bit of a bump. Come on, let's be honest with the treble season when Brendan left, we're on a bit of a bump. Even though we won.
But right, in a sense, right. Even the first trebles, I could have played in goals for Celtic. No one get near us. Do you remember when we used to play the ball round the back for about 25 minutes? It used to just go Lustig out to Tierney and it'd be and mate, it was beautiful. Like no one get near us, right? So I get that people say, but Scott Baines took a cut on his contract. I know that for a fact. His contract is less than what he's receiving. He knows he's not playing ahead of Joe Hart. At the end of this season, Joe Hart's on 1 year deal, am I correct?
2 year deal.
A 2 year deal.
2 year deal with the option though of 1 year. Yeah,
I'd be getting him to sign that now. I'd be getting him to sign that now.
Joe Hart's price will be going up at the end of this season, right? Which is fairly so because in my eyes, Joe Hart's in my.
Do you think Joe Hart is good enough to get an England call up again?
I don't.
No,
not over. Who's in there?
Come on, Pickford's absolutely mince.
Pickford, Pope, Heaton.
No, Ben White's the best goalkeeper in England now. Was that not Ben White? The boy that was on fucking Aaron Ramsdale.
Aye, Ramsdale.
Ramsdale for Arsenal's been very good.
He's the best English goalkeeper just now. Definitely.
But also, I don't see.
Yeah, who said I was steaming? Wait till I reply here. Yes, I am.
Aye. Also, I think Southgate's not going to look up here for goalkeepers. Let's face it.
Kind of like the Roy Hodgson kind of approach.
Southgate does
Aye.
what the FA wants him to do.
Mm-hmm.
And see, at the end of the day, Chiellini, what a guy. Fucking love him.
Jojo. Yeah. Hopefully Inter win the league this year. I know, like, I don't have any chance here.
I'm top of Scudetto just now, so I'm the only reason why I've not booked my flights yet to go out to the San Siro is because Italy's went down to 500 capacity just now. So
Jesus. Right, starting lineup for tomorrow, Judy. What you going for?
Right, so well, Julian's not fit yet, isn't he? Not so he's kind of half and half. So tomorrow's quite a weird one. I would play Scales at left back for a start.
Who's in goals first of all? Is Barkas getting goals?
No. I think Joe Hart has to be in goals. I think after having COVID and he coming back in the winter break, I think you have.
Do you think there'll be eyebrows raised with Scott Bain getting a new deal and Joe Hart starting in the cup against the lower?
Because Scott Bain's took a cut in his pay. Scott Bain now knows that he's an in-depth squad keeper. He's a guy who sits on the bench. He's a guy who... Yeah, exactly. He's a guy who knows he has to play here and there, and he's took a pay cut of that. And Celtic's second goalkeeper must be the easiest job in the world because you're on good money.
Look at Jersey Dudek at Madrid.
Yeah.
he's getting 80 grand a week or something at Madrid.
So, for instance, right, I'm saying Joe Hart and goals. Right back, I'm saying Ralston. Ralston's definitely back in the squad. For me, it's maybe Welsh. And is Carter Vickers still struggling or what?
No.
No, I played on Monday.
Right, so do you know what? I'm going to go Carter Vickers and Welsh. Left back, I'd love to see Scales involved. I think Scales especially against Betis at home, he was superb. I think he was one of the best players in the park. Midfield, we'll go Hatate. What a guy. We'll go Hatate. We will go Cal McGregor playing a wee bit of forward role, and we will also go Tom Rogic.
All right, what's the right?
And then left, we'll go. I think Jota will be back in starting. Although he come off the bench, I think Jota, Maeda up top, and then you could play whoever. I'm probably going to be a badder, but that's my.
So you're going for a full strong team going out against Alloa on this plastic pitch.
I think Ange is one of the guys who, if Maeda doesn't play, then Goalkeeper will play, but I don't think he's going to drop. The only switch I would see was maybe Maeda playing out the left, right, and Goalkeeper playing up front, and Jota coming out that system. But for after a winter break, right, like it's one thing I speak about, and when the whole thing about football is players, even though we're on a winter break, players can be fit and they can be fit and stamina and running and up on tempo and drills. However, no one's match fit until they play matches, and that interval training of making sprints, covering in positions, filling in. Do you know what I mean? So for me, that I think Ange will play that kind of squad, but that's
score predictions.
Score predictions against Alloa, without being disrespectful, I think maybe 4 or 5 we'll score it. I don't know how many they'll score. If Alloa score tomorrow, then there's seriously got to be another signing in tomorrow for fucking Celtic. I tell you what, right? See if Alloa score 2 tomorrow, I swear, I've got a pair of good boots in there and my shin pads. I am ready for Ange anytime he needs me. I'll be on the phone to Big Steve.
I think I'd see you give them away or something.
I'll be on the phone to Steve McManus and John Kelly. They'll say, Big John, listen, mate. I
heard you're the IT man for Strachan's laptop. Is that true? Is it?
Strachan's laptop. That was the highlights. Listen, let's not talk about that because that's a bit. That's a bit hangy. But listen, no. If Alloa score 1 or 2 tomorrow, then you really need to seriously look at things. And if they come from set pieces, which I hope they fucking don't, I've jinxed that now. But that's just my opinion. I think it will be Joe Hart, Ralston, Julian, not Julian, Vickers, Welsh, Liam Scales. I'll go Hatate, Cal McGregor, Tom Rogic, and I will initially go Jota, Maeda, and Abada. But if Jota's still not 100%, I know he came on, I will go Maeda on the left, Kukamakis up top, and Abada on the right.
Gary?
I don't think there'll be a lot of changes from Monday, to be fair, because I think Ange will want to get this first win in the Cup under his belt. So pretty much I think Joe Hart will be in goals. I do agree with the change of Ralston. I think Ralston at right back, it's his kind of night, it's his kind of game, it's his kind of pitch. I think he thrives on pitches like that. I think as much as I'd love to see Scales at left back, I think he's a big fan of Greg Taylor. The only worry with me is obviously the plastic pitch and injuries. I know somebody came up there and
Taylor's
says,
used a plastic pitch with Achilles.
Is that all a plastic pitch?
Yeah.
aye.
Fucking rat bastards. Sorry. That's a disgrace.
And I heard Barry Ferguson just laid it yesterday. No, it was no. I think it'll be Greg Taylor at left back. I think in the middle, I think he will go Welsh and Starfelt.
Starfelt not struggling still? No.
No, not well. He played the 90 the other night.
Yeah. But I heard they had a wee bit of a struggle, but fair enough.
I'm not sure. I know there was. I know fans are getting on his back and all the rest of it about performances and all the rest of it. I thought he was pretty solid the other night.
He was aerial. He was brilliant.
Yeah, mate. I was. I mean, and I hate to interrupt when it's short term, guys, but I even went on the Clyde Super Scoreboard and I spoke. It was a game. I think it was the St Johnstone game where I said how good Starfelt is, and you need to give players at that time. I mean, how often, right, do you see players come into a football club and settle well, right? So, for instance, Maeda, right? So, Keith and Gad, you'll agree. Maeda's come in the other day and he scored a goal in his debut, so we all love him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Do you know what made it won it for me?
If you're a defender and you can see the goal, you get so much more criticism. You need to stick by guys like Starfelt. He was average against Hearts when we get beat at the start of the season. I get it. He was shite.
Jeez, he was only in the door a couple of leads.
Exactly. However, after that, he's been fucking playing some great football.
Even against Bernard Barros, he was outstanding when I went to see him.
Defenders get criticism, attackers get leeway. They do, and that's the way it works. Do you know what I mean?
I think we Starfelt and especially probably pinpoint the Hearts game at Celtic Park no long ago. I like him, but I want him to be more confident in the ball. I want him to drive forward with the ball.
Kind of like an Oyer run, take an Oyer run on.
And just have the confidence, but he's very cautious in his play. He's very cautious in his play. I don't think he needs a goal. I just think he needs to lift his head up and just have a bit more confidence in himself. But I think he feels the kind of negativity sometimes for the stands. But for me, I mean, Juddy, I don't know about you. Obviously, the St Johnstone Johnstone game, Abada played through the middle. I really like Abada playing in that position. I know that's Kyogo's role kind of thing, but I loved watching him against that because I thought it was so lethal.
Even with the midfield,
I don't. Do you want me to tell you why I don't? Is because Abada has created so many chances for that wide position. He's got so many goal contributions, goals and assists from that position.
But he goes missing too easy though as well.
Yeah, right. But he's a very, very young player. He's 19? I mean, what 20. Were you doing at 20, right? It doesn't fucking make a difference. What were you doing at 20, Keith? Gaz, what were you doing?
Down there 5 nights a week.
Exactly, right? So the guy's got a lot of things to improve on, and a manager who can bring him through. I mean, look what guys like Rodgers done for young players at Celtic. Dyla, like Tierney, for instance. They players need time. Like, we are just expecting players to come in the shadow, and that's why a lot of people don't like Greg Taylor. And one of the strongest things that I argue about Greg Taylor is a good fullback. He is. He's a good wing back, right, or fullback, whatever you want to call the position. But we always live in the shadow of Kieran Tierney. We compare him to Kieran Tierney, which is unfair because Kieran Tierney's once in a generation. Kieran Tierney was a brilliant player for Celtic. Abada's young. He's got a lot to prove, a lot to show. He's happy here from what I see, especially if he misses TikTok because they're never out of George Square kissing each other, right? So they're fucking loving it.
Listen, I would be as well. To be fair, I've seen it.
They're probably saying that bench was broken.
So they're fucking loving it, right? But what you need to do, these guys are they're very, very young. I mean, look at them guys. Do you know what I mean? Like when you look at players in world football at 19, like they're having these stats, you're going, oh, whatever. But he's playing well. You flow with it. Well, I always say we're lucky being Celtic fans, but sometimes we expect too much. We expect too much.
We'll get back to Gaz's prediction lineup. So, what's the midfield, Gaz?
Midfield, I think, go with Juddy a lot. Hatate, Rogic, McGregor, Abada, and probably James Forrest. I think it was great to see him playing most of the game the other night, and hopefully we can keep him fit. Again, it's like Ralston. It's his kind of pitch. It's his kind of game, and he loves the kind of the games. And probably Giakoumakis through the middle. Although I think
So
I
you're
don't
saying
know.
no Maeda tomorrow?
No, I think Giakoumakis will start. I'd love to see. I would actually love to see Abada through the middle. To be honest, but
Maeda has to play tomorrow, though. Big man, he does. Even if he's out on the left, because like we spoke about that, he has to be on the left. He has to be in there somewhere. Do you know what I mean?
Aye, but I just don't think there'll be many changes for Monday night. I don't think he'll want to disrupt the flow of the team too much, kind of thing. But start sticking in McCarthy and Johnston and players like that in Welsh. I just think I just think that he'll want to keep the continuity going, kind of thing. And obviously, it's important games, as you said, Juddy. It's important games against Hearts and Dundee United in the league before Rangers, kind of thing. So it's all about getting 3 points in them. But it's also about getting through tomorrow, being in that draw. As we've seen, listen, Cove Rangers, Paul Hartley going great guns at Cove Rangers, went to Easter Roads, bit of spice there, ex-Hearts fan, ex-Hearts player rather, but he pushed them extra time, and they could have stole it, to be fair. So listen, no taking them lightly at all, Alloa. But listen, I think we should win. I'm going to say 2-0.
Right, take that back. That's an insult. If we're not beating Alloa, Dan, if we're not beating Alloa by more than fucking 2 tomorrow, I am retiring from the Celtic content. I swear to God.
No, I think it'll be one. I think it'll be one of the games. I think we'll have enough chances and enough domination in the game, but we'll probably just maximum 3 goals. But I think 2-0.
I'm going to go for my team, folks.
Know what you're saying before you go, Keith? You know what you're saying, guys, about Giakoumakis starting, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was the top goal scorer at Eredivisie. What did he score? 36 goals or something last season?
26.
Aye, 26.
Right. No, but in all competitions, what was it? It was 30 plus, was it not?
Aye, I'm not sure of the final.
And he's not scoring a hat-trick tomorrow against Alloa if he starts. I am phoning Michael Nicholson myself and saying, big man, get him to fuck, because he's not good enough. We must be beating him. Anyway, Keith, go on with your start 11.
Right, I know this is going to raise eyebrows, but I'm looking at it as a cup game as well. Even though I think we have enough on the bench to actually do it, and Finch player. So I think it's going to be Bain and goal tomorrow. I know I'd love to see Hart start, but I think he's going to go for Bain. Right back as
cup keeper.
Right back, Urigidi. I think Urigidi needs a loan move, even though I want him to stay at Celtic.
Yeah.
You can start with Urigidi. Left back is going to be Scales. Centre backs are going to be Carter Vickers, and it's going to be Welch. I think Starfelt might get a rest. You could start. Midfield, I'm going to go with Callum. Going to go with Tate, and I'm also going to go with Ideguchi. Because I don't know what the situation would be, Don. I think you rest Tom tomorrow and bring Tom on. Look at Tom with the plastic pitches. He's unbelievable scoring goals.
Yeah.
Against Kilmarnock. So I think Ideguchi is going to get a bit of time since he didn't really play much the other night. Came off the bench. I think Atate as the attacking player, box to box, will do it. I think setting the 2 Japanese boys in there with Callum giving the orders would be good. On the right, I think it's going to be James Forrest. I think James will play. I think James played well the other night in the left. But say playing the right and Abada be rested. Left would be Jota, even though something's saying Mikey Johnson in there for some reason lingering. But I'm going to say Jota, and then up front I'm going to go with the big Greek. I think he's going to win a lot of fouls. He's going to get a goal. It's going to be a scrappy goal. But I say 3-0. 3-0.
I think Abada in too.
Keith, quickly there. Sorry, I was away to the toilet. Give me your starting 11 back to front there quickly.
Bain, Urigidi, Scales, Carter Vickers, Welch, Gucci, Cal, Tate, Jamesy, Jota, and Giakoumakis.
Right, I tell you what, see if that's the starting lineup tomorrow, I'll give you $1,000. There's no way that's playing tomorrow. Urigidi's never playing tomorrow. Come on, Ralston's in there.
Yeah, but I love Ralston. I love Raldo, but I think Urigidi, if Urigidi wants a long move, he's going to have to play some sort of football before the window closes.
He played against Betis. He was all right. First 20 minutes.
Yeah, but that was Betis like a month and a half ago.
Come on. he's get plaudits, but fair enough. Listen, that's what we all love. Football's a game of opinions, you know what I mean? So we'll go with that. But listen, Keith, if that is the starting lineup tomorrow, I'll give you $1,000.
Nice.
Ange, please don't play her again.
He'll be on the phone to Ange and WhatsApp them.
I'm fucking right. I'm like,
you could do a job like you're comparing Betis to Alloa. Like
I like Kuragidi.
No, and I do like him as well. But one thing I said about Ange was he plays with that style. He sticks with that style. He stuck with that style when we were getting beat. He'll stick with that style now.
He will stick with the style, but he's just going to change the players around.
No for me.
The reason why I went with this team, I was talking about the big game. I'm dreading this game on Wednesday more than dreading playing them on the 2nd of February. I was only having this talk today with one of my friends about it. I was like, I just think Hearts are going to be out for blood, and that's it.
Mate, I'm gutted we're having to play them in 2nd of February. I mean, they've not got Morelos in their team. That's fucking shite for us, mate, because he is pish.
I know you were staying up to 5 o'clock in the morning with your bottles.
Honestly, he's like a fucking shoe brush out of Timson's with that haircut. He's pish. He wouldn't get a game for my 7-a-side team, and they're all wanting it cancelled and stuff. I hope they get it cancelled. Give me that derby we haven't playing, because he is mincing tatties.
Just give us Monday Night Football under the lights against them.
I can't believe it's a Wednesday
night.
I
just think disco lights against them. No, none of them in the stadium. I just think it's going to be electric. It's going to be absolutely electric.
Here's one for you. No one's talked about this on Twitter or other channels. Monday Night Football games, like we've seen on the other night against Hibs, should they be playing more than at Celtic Park?
Oh, aye, but it depends, because if you get a good game on a Saturday, so say we play Aberdeen on a Saturday, right, and then we play Ross County on a Monday. No, because you're going to be hungover for Saturday for Aberdeen, because that's a great day.
So, for example, if they play on the Sunday a 12:30 kick-off, whatever, and then we play on the Monday night, I think it'd be a good crack. You know, I think Monday Night Football under the lights is a thing that should look.
Do you know what I think?
It depends what your weekend fixture is, though, innit, guys? I mean, it depends how much we're out in the sauce. I mean, for guys who go to most games, come on, you need to think of the people who are putting in the fucking graft here. The 12-hour shifts.
Do you know what I want? But see, between now and end of the season, I want us to be playing first. Because look what happened. We just came back for the winter break. We played on the Monday, beat Hibs, and their asses collapsed at Pittodrie. Do you know what I mean? Now, if they don't have any fans in at Pittodrie, if the fans were still locked out of the stadium and all the rest of it, I reckon they would have beat Aberdeen quite comfortably. But I think they wilted under pressure. Brownie had them in his pocket. Johnny Hayes was fantastic.
Johnny's Hayes, what's the crack who's new here?
All fucking tactics. Peter Lowell knew he was doing offloading them boys.
and listen, they have went to the SFA tonight with 8 separate issues over the game. It's laughable. I was listening to the Super Scoreboard. When was it? Probably the night after the game. And honestly, they were begging the SFA to cancel the game. They were we should be doing it 100%. We should be moving the game. They should be moving the game, and trying to put the shoe on the other foot and saying if it was Celtic that had all these players missing, it's only because they've got Morelos and Aribo missing. Do you know what I mean? That's literally all they're going to have missing, I think.
Right, so 5 o'clock in the morning, the Japanese squad is going to be announced. Looks like Kyogo won't be picked. You know, still waiting for my Japan jersey to come through.
So the stats of it is Maeda is practically being picked now that Kyogo's not in. All right, and then Ideguchi is roughly about 35-40% from what we've seen and what I've heard, and then Hatate was not looked to be picked at all, which in a sense could be good for us because Hatate could then be. Because he's done a great game for us, but it was the way it was Kyogo, Maeda, Ideguchi, Hatate. So if Hatate's not picked, then here we go. Do you know what I mean? But listen, if it is what it is, if we get 3 or 4 more players, I don't care. You suspend the fucking game. Like this is the biggest game of your season. You don't take fucking pride in your heart and you don't hang it. And like I said earlier on, Ange knows what it feels like to lose that Old Firm derby, lose that Glasgow derby. And do you know what I said? As soon as it's done, I was on a podcast the next day or an interview. I can't remember what it was. I was on something to do with whatever, and I said, you know, it's probably the best thing to ever happen because he knows what it feels like to lose now. He knows what it feels like to lose.
Do you know it was brilliant? Right after that game, I don't know if it was just an assurance of calmness with Ange when he was like, listen, he just took it on the chin. He was like, listen, I should have put Kyogo through the middle. That's my mistake. We'll dust ourselves down. We'll move on. Now, I think any other manager might have been panicking, overthinking it, and keeping it in his mind. Ange has basically just got that to the fans. Listen, it's my mistake. We'll move on. It'll not happen again. And I think the fans have like, brilliant. That's fine. Because the fans would deliberate on this for weeks and weeks and weeks. Why did we not do this? Why did we not do that? But I think we just took it on the chin, moved on, 3 more games against them, and you know. As I say, we're going to have every Celtic fan inside that stadium backing Ange and the boys.
We want them. I want to play them. Fucking don't mind this international.
I'll fucking got front, man.
Yeah, we have them football boots there. You might as well.
That's it, big John Hart's now.
I heard Marvin Comper is coming back out of retirement.
There's a laptop going.
WWE table gone out. No, but look, you look at like if we do reschedule
quality,
the fixture.
In all seriousness, though, quality and depth, tactics, the style of play we have just now. We've got the best. We've conceded the least goals, and the biggest thing about Celtic, we're saying how we don't want we need a new defence, and we've conceded the least goals. We batter Rangers every day. Do you know what I mean? And I don't like talking about Rangers because the plaudits come with it and my Twitter goes off. It's not, and people go, oh, you're a fucking fiend bastard, whatever, right? And I hate all that. But we batter Rangers all over the park right now. There's not. Ralston's better than fucking Tavernier. I don't even know who Rangers keeper is. I don't watch Rangers games. And
McGregor, I think.
There,
right, so
right, I don't know, and I genuinely don't watch Rangers games, and I would say that, and I've always said that I don't watch their games. Right, their centre backs Golson and
Barisic, is it now?
Is it Barisic? I don't know. Right. Carter Vickers and fucking Starfelt have been better than them this season. Left back. Who's Rangers left back?
I actually don't know. I don't even watch
exactly.
them as well.
Don't care, right? Greg Taylor's better than all of them, right? And he's been the worst as all, right? Midfield, Cal McGregor, no one touches him in this league, right? Or Hatate, right? Right, we'll go Cal McGregor, right? No one touches Cal McGregor in this league.
Yeah, Near Beaton do a better job than all their midfield.
Right. No one touches Cal McGregor in the league, so that's out the fucking window, right? Attacking midfielders, Rogic, for what he's done in football, scored here and there, assists, he's magical against Dundee United, I remember, right? Great. David Turnbull scored a hat-trick against St Mirren, unreal. Jota, no one's near him in the league, right? I don't care. Where does Kent play in the right or the left?
Right, I think.
Right, doesn't matter. Jota's still better than him, right? Forrest, average, right? Forrest is one of the players for me who comes up with moments or contributes to the team where he's one of the
still
players.
Fucking talking, Juddy. Fucking hell, man.
He's one of the players. He's one of the players where you're like, fair enough, and he doesn't get a lot of plaudits, but he's a great servant to the club, right? But and then up front, Maeda, right? Even if fucking Forrest isn't playing, say you put Maeda out in the right and Kyogo up front. Obviously, Kyogo's injured, but we batter them all over the park. But I mean, batter them. And if we don't beat them at Celtic Park, I will shave Del Seed.
Aye.
I will shave Del Seed.
I fucking gust a window, blow the rest of yours off, you cunt.
Listen, it's going back. Listen, a couple of more brand deals with Sky Sports and that, and I'll be off.
I heard you're getting a Lee Griffiths hairstyle. Are you getting that?
I'm going straight to Turkey. Trip. So listen, if you want to get me some hair back, just if you're watching, please subscribe to the Juddy Talks channel.
The mother will come.
Please just subscribe to the Juddy Talks channel because I want a hair transplant trips and
that's it. Just get a Bon Jovi mullet and you'll be sorted. Living the dream.
Do you see the picture about the day about Meatloaf? It says, "I would do anything for love." And then it was a wee picture.
I've seen that, aye.
I support Rangers, but I won't do that. Brilliant.
But
here's one for you, Keith. Last time, you probably know this anyway. When was the last year that the Scottish Cup final was contested by two teams outside the top flight?
Top flight. It'd be Rangers and Hibs 2016.
Boom.
Boom.
Was it? I was going to say Gretna and no, because Hearts would have been in the top.
I was miles. I was saying Queen's Park in bloody East Fife in 1927.
Robinson, fuck's sake, you are just like.
Oh God! Well, I want to talk about Jota. What do you think is going to happen? Like, Dale, what do you think is going to happen?
Right, I've got a wee bit in this. Right,
well, we'll come to you in a minute. I'll
go last. Fucking Juddy Tots.
Enough beers for Juddy. That's it.
Penalty.
I think he signs before the end of January. To be perfectly honest with you, obviously we're all looking for the outside in, but the only thing that worries me is we are kind of coming to the end of the month and he hasn't signed. That's my worry, but he seems happy. So optimistically and being a glass kind of half full kind of guy, I think he'll sign the dotted line before January finishes.
There's rumours that Juddy's bringing to campus for a few drinks. They're going to get him going for the contract.
Get yourself a bullfrog.
Oh yeah.
Let's get Gaz in. You're going last. You're going.
And then I'll tell you the real fucking facts.
Well, I don't know if this is. I doubt this will be what Juddy's going to tell us, because this is obviously for Benfica news. So this is what got sent last night. Benfica and Celtic had agreed a deal. That Jota had turned down the first offer but accepted the second. Benfica offered him a new deal. One of the wingers, Everton, is leaving the club, and Jota wants assurances about specified game time before he makes his mind up. So listen, we need to get this deal done one way or the other. Get it done in January, and let's enjoy the rest of the season, because he is what I will say is he's far too good for this league. With the greatest respect to the Scottish League, he's far too good for it. But I would love to see us win the league and see him and Kyogo and players like that in the Champions League next year. And the Champions League next year, because they will rip it up.
Yep.
Right.
So my point is, we've just a wee message in the chat there from Paulo, who said, "Will Kyogo be fit for the Rangers game?" The answer to that is 75% no, 25% yes. It's one of the ones where the management team, players, people at Celtic have said no, he's not going to be fit. However, Ange has shown that he can be different in the side of media, where he says we're not getting any deals in, but we sign a player 2 days later. So, right, but with the Jota situation, from what I've heard from the Jota situation, is the deal has been agreed. It's still in the contract that there's a buyout or a potential to buy for Jota, round about the £6.5 million mark, which is roughly about 7.2 million euros. The player then went over to Benfica when he had his injury, which most clubs do. A lot of people thought that was a worrying thing, but any player who's on loan who gets injured usually goes back to their parent club to get treatment, because they're still a player under their contract, under their supervision, whatever, such and such. There has been offers from other clubs, like you said, maybe Everton. I don't know the clubs exactly. However, I don't think Jota will sign just now. When I spoke to Ange in the press conference, that was a question I asked him. He says he doesn't want to rush anything. It's up to the player. However, there's a lot of stuff going on at Celtic where it looks like Jota could come to Celtic, and I think it's more of a personal decision now than a financial decision, because I think Celtic will offer him whatever he wants, because there's a lot of players at Celtic, like for instance Joe Hart, who's only on 15 grand a week. When you look at that, Kyogo's not on that much either. The wage bill for Celtic is substantially dropped from when Dembele and Edouard went away. But it's more of a personal decision now for Jota. But the option is there to bring him in. But the deal that's more likely to be done quicker than the Jota deal is the Cameron Carter-Vickers deal. That seems to, from what I've heard and through people I've spoke to, the Cameron Carter-Vickers deal seems to be going through quicker. Daniel Levy's agreed on a fee. Celtic seem to be happy with that fee after several negotiations and a couple of offers here and there. The difference of a couple of hundred not too much. It's round about the 5.5 to 6 million mark now for Cameron Carter-Vickers. That looks like it's going to go through. He seems to be happy here, come at the club. But Jota seems more like a personal decision. However, we've just started a new tune for him. So if he doesn't fucking...
And he loves it. He loves it, supposedly.
He does like it. That's what's happening. And that's just from what I've heard. Now, I've got a couple of contacts, so don't take my word for it. I'm not BBC Sport, I'm not Sky Sports, but that's what I've heard from inside people who message me here and there. So, but the Jota thing looks like to happen, but it's more than likely to wait until the end of the season. Unless he's very certain that he wants to sign for the club, it's more than likely to wait until the end of the season, where Celtic have that option to buy in the clause, and then what that deal initiates is Celtic have already agreed that with Benfica. So if Celtic offer that, Benfica have to say yes, and then it's up to the player and Jota whether he decides that there's better offers on the table elsewhere.
I think it'll be the end of the season. I think there's a bit of anxiety between fans now because he's playing so well. He's had to come back from injury. He's getting this song that they're going on. I think it feels like Paddy Roberts' deja vu all over again. That's what I feel. I think
it feels like we're going to left be broken-hearted.
If we didn't buy these players that we bought, these 5 players in January, I'd be saying, look, the board's not ambitious. Jota's not going to happen. Completely not going to happen. But
I think
what I've seen,
mate.
I think roll it off to the end of the season and they'll get it. It's the same situation. I bring this up on the YouTube channel. Ange is on a rolling contract. He's planning for the future. Give the guy the bleeding 2-year deal or 3-year deal.
Do you know the biggest deal we need though at the club is Ange's contract needs to be sorted right now.
Marvin Comper as assistant.
Yeah, big Carlton Cole's the best ever. Better than Jimmy Jones.
No, his contract needs to be sorted out, and Ange needs his own backroom staff at the end of the season. Obviously, Kendy's there. Kendy's worked on the ropes up this season with Strachan and Steve Woods. Maybe, as you said, Judy, at the start of the show, he's at the brain sports science guy, Dallin, an analyst. He's doing work in the background, which is going there. But does he want to bring in his own staff? Look at this guy. We look at the likes of Eddie Howe that had a Serapus that he wasn't getting his own staff, wasn't getting his own financial funds, wouldn't drive up the road to Glasgow. And there's a lad that's leaving Japan to fly to Glasgow and take a job.
Do you think, but that obviously if we go into win a treble, and Juddy mentioned it earlier.
If when we go into win the treble,
fucking shut up for 5 minutes, you. So when we go on to win the treble, that. As Juddy spoke about earlier, Kennedy's kind of some Celtic fans like him, some hate him. I think the guy gets a bit of a hard time. If you listen to ex-players and coaches that have worked with Kennedy, they speak very, very highly of him on the training ground. I think a lot of Celtic fans get mixed up with being a coach and being a defensive coach, which he's labelled, which is a load of pish. He's a first-team coach. Exactly. Obviously, he's been a centre-half.
He's been around there 7 years now. He's around the first team 7 years.
The thing is, Dale, speaking about that, Brent, I know for a fact John Kennedy was offered 2.5 times markup of the contract he was getting at Celtic to move to Leicester with Brendan Rodgers. He turned it down.
I heard that as well.
I heard that.
I know for a fact. That's a fact, right? That's
very good coach.
That's a fact. He stayed at Celtic. He's a Celtic man.
So I don't think if when we do go on to win the treble, win the league, as you're talking about Ange, obviously the guys he's brought in now is going to benefit us in the long run. But if we win the league and the Scottish Cup, and
you expect it again,
the harmony with Ange and McManus and Stevie Woods and John Kennedy seems to be working. So if and when we go on to win the treble, I don't really see a massive need to change a lot at the end of the season.
Do you think it'll become where he'll bring in the odd guy here and there then over the time he's here?
I think naturally as he progresses, and obviously we're hoping and wishing that we kind of see this squad going on for 3 or 4 years and filling up trophy cabinets until the likes of Jota and Kyogo and Hatate and guys like that move on. That's just been realistic. That's what happens with Celtic now. We look to buy cheap and we look to buy cheap and make a bit of profit. That's the business of Celtic now. will get a hell of a lot of money for Hatate and Kyogo if they keep going the way they're going. So we just hope that the next 3 years it's Ange ball and we keep this squad together.
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm just letting Dale finish.
No, on his go. Aye, so that was
Dale's
just
done.
my point. Was I don't really think there'll be massive changes.
I think he's at the phrasing there. He'll be back in a second. But he's right. We're gonna make money in the recruiting these Japanese boys and getting them for literally $1 million or 1.5 million, and then sell them for big bucks. It may be a 10 million price tag. Like, my question to you, Del, is if you were to put a price tag now on Kyogo, what would it be?
It's a hard question, but obviously because
16 goals this season so far.
Yeah, 16 goals coming from a totally different culture's phenomenal. For me, an English club coming in has to pay us between 15 and 20 million for him. The now if he goes in January, easily 4 times what we paid for him. I think
his connection's going down. Gaz,
I can hear Dale. Can you not hear Dale? No.
No, he's frozen.
I can hear him paying. I can hear him paying.
Keith, it's your fucking credit. It's that fucking Irish Wi-Fi. Fuck's sake.
Sorry, Dale. I think I can better hear you now. But it just keeps going downstream.
Go again, Dale.
Aye, so the question was about Kyogo. I think now with his performances, you pay 4 times the money for him. If it's an English Premiership side, a German side, a Spanish side, he's 15 or 20 million before he goes anywhere.
Yeah. Right, so my point on that was when Dale was speaking about Celtic used to buy cheap and sell for a profit.
Like Wanyama.
I think that time now for Celtic is starting to pass, especially with competitions like the Conference League, where if Celtic go into the Champions League next year, which I'm sure we will if we win the league, because I think Celtic will win the league.
So if we finish second place, we have a playoff round. Just
but playoff. Yeah. But in my personal opinion, I think Celtic will win the league this year. I think we've got a stronger in-depth squad than what Rangers do.
Aye, we will, man.
We'll continue to sell. I don't think Rangers will make any signings, and that's just my opinion, right? And people can disagree or agree, whatever, and that's fine. That's what football's about. It's a game of opinions. However, in my eyes, Celtic, that whole side of buying cheap and selling for a profit is gone now, because the money that comes with the UEFA Conference League, that's another fixture. We'll get great TV deals from that. It might not be as much as Champions League. We'll get TV deals.
Or Europa League.
Yeah,
but still, listen, we get deals from that, and I think that kind of time of thing is gone. I mean, when you look at players we've sold in the past, like Van Dijk, Armstrong, even guys like Christie, modern
it's easily players. It's easily 5 million when you get the win, you get the TV broadcast,
so
the match tickets.
And genuinely, in my opinion, Celtic, Scottish football is in a rebuff state, and that's with Rangers coming back into the top league and then winning the trophies, winning the league last year.
The Calder Cup.
Clubs are starting to look at Celtic and Rangers now and starting to put us back up to that kind of tier of not where we were. We'll never be where we were, but up to that tier of, well, listen, you need to respect teams like that. I mean, we beat Betis. Do you know what I mean? They were sitting third in the league at the time. Rangers got to last 16 or whatever against Bayer Leverkusen last year, who are a fucking fantastic side. That's when they still had fucking Havertz and whatever. Do you know what I mean?
We were winning them. We were beating them 2-1
exactly.
at one time.
Yeah, exactly. So you need to look at things like that. And Dale's got a great point though, because that's what Celtic both have been like the past fucking 10, 15 years. Dermot Desmond's the line these pockets, or Pirlo. We'll buy for cheap, we'll sell for fucking expensive. Do you know what I mean?
That's where I would probably totally disagree with you, Juddy, and I see your point and I respect your opinion, but aye, that's not a fight, mate. That's one of them, and you're fucking slating. But what I've spoke about it before. The money in football now is in such a ridiculous state. Obviously, the FIFA fair play seems to be helping slightly, but you just have to look at recent moves, Ryan Christie and the guy Riley going to. For me, Celtic are the top 5 biggest clubs in the world. Don't give a fuck what anybody says. Real Madrid, Barcelona, Man United, Celtic, Liverpool. That's it for me.
Fan base, 100%.
Folk can argue the fact whatever they want, fan base wise. No, I don't care. We're one of the top 5 clubs in the world. that alone, obviously for Celtic fans, should keep you at Parkhead. Kieran Tierney's one of the biggest dyed-in-the-wool green and white Celtic fans I've ever known. But it's a short career. You can get injured. So unfortunately, and just being realistic, I think if you keep a player at Parkhead for 3 years, we're doing well. The likes of Kyogo, Hatate,
We
guys
didn't keep
like that.
Dembele for 3 years.
Let's not go over the step though with Hatate. He's played one game and got man of the match.
Yeah. I'm just making examples. I'm no fucking blowing smoke up his ass quite
So
yet.
Young was a 3-year player. You know, Wanyama wasn't even a 3-year player.
Dale, and it's one thing we look at, but with the way the board is moving in business just now, Dale, right? And Celtic play, there's a new European competition which comes with huge TV.
Yes, I know that, but
I don't think Celtic will budge on players as easily as we did in the last 5 seasons.
Transfer fees, I do agree with it.
Ryan Christie was what, 640,000.
Yeah.
We let for 6.3 million or something.
Yeah.
It was roughly about 100%, 1,000% increase. Like it was times 10 or whatever they left for, right?
I think the transfer fee thing's not an issue, mate. I think the issue is if a Leicester City come in for Kyogo next summer and offer 20 million and Celtic are saying no, and they offer him 50 grand a week, he's gone.
I know.
He's gone.
If any club offers Celtic just now, until Celtic start getting back to the last 16 of Champions League or whatever, they're going for 20 million. We're lucky just now to have a manager like Ange who's got an untapped market to bring players in to bring that thing. And do you know the thing is, see in a sense, see if Kyogo does go for 20 million to a club like Leicester or whatever, in a sense, for me, that's an accomplishment for Ange. That keeps Ange at our club for a longer period of time because the board will want to give him more money, let him make more signings, and then building the team. And do you know what? Then next thing you know, we're fucking 20 in a row and we're all singing, I come from a land down under. Well, we go,
Gaz, like you put a value on Kyogo. What do you think? Like the lads are saying 20 million.
I think Dale's about right. I think you look at right now. You look at 4 times what we paid for him. I think when you look at the money that's getting splashed about down there, when you look at 80 million for Harry Maguire and 100 million for Jack Grealish and things like that, it's ridiculous. I mean, they're decent players, but they're half the money that they should be. That should be getting bought for. John McGinn potentially could go for 40 million. Maybe in the summer, I'd love to see him go to a Man United, although Villa's doing great things now in the transfer market. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's very difficult to get emotionally attached to players nowadays. We live in an era where we are a selling club. You look at Jeremy Frimpong, who was sold on for great money. Edward was sold on for great money. It's very, very difficult. You probably need to look back to Martin O'Neill's
Tierney for a free. Tierney was a free player come through the youth system.
25 million. I think you need to look at back to Martin O'Neill's days to see that these kind of players that stay for 5, 6, 7 years, your Larsons and Petrovs and Suttons
Jackie
and Harsons and things like that. Yeah,
I'm shocked that Tom Rogic should have been at us for 9 years.
I think that's crazy as well, to be fair. And to be fair, he wasn't getting in the team at first under Lennon. I know it was maybe injuries.
His debut was against Inverness.
Pick his arse, though. That's the difference.
The thing about Rodgers was suffering. Like he had to go back to Australia for the season on loan to get his head together.
Yeah,
and then he came back, and then Ronnie gave him the chance. And then when you get in the club in the team, and Ronnie, look at the goals he was scoring that season. The 2 goals against Kilmarnock.
I'll tell you who could have been a player for us, I think, and it just injuries that didn't go his way. Daniel Arzani. I think he could have been a really, really good player for us.
Good player. Very, very unlucky with that injury.
I'd have been some player for Celtic if I didn't love a beer too much, I swear to God.
You played for 6 minutes tonight.
Knockoff beers.
So boys, you want to hear the story, right? So
6 minutes and caught your fucking quad tonight.
I went to play football tonight at 6 minutes, played at the sevens, and I asked for the ball at feet about over my head, and I extended my leg, and as I landed, boom, pulled my quad, mate. I had a bag of frozen potato wedges on my leg about 7 hours before I come on the podcast tonight.
Stick to the vlogs. Stick to the vlogs, son.
vlogs. But listen, instead of keeping these, I'm going to go, guys, because I'm off to Auckland Talbot versus Hearts tomorrow now with PG and Dax. So, but listen, great to be on, Keith. Absolute top man. It's always great to share content with you, mate, because you're no filter, mate. You see,
you'll have me soon over in Celtic Park.
Exactly, and I love that, mate, because it's for me. I'm quite laid back and trying to be quite reserved in my opinions, which is great. Guys, big man, great to see you, mate. Although
you too, mate.
Newcastle, which are fucking shite and all, but anyway, it's good to get a chat with you. And Dale, you're my boy, mate. You're my main mucker. And Dale, by the way, troops, if you don't, without self-promoting, Juddy Talks, 2nd of February, the Old Firm vlog or Glasgow Derby vlog, get a watch, because it's been Dale with a half bottle of wine in each pocket, sneaking into Celtic Park.
Oh, yes.
It's going to be. So, but Keith, guys, Dale, legends, thank you for having me on. I know I chat like fuck, but that's what I love. That's why I want to be on the telly, because I just chat shite, and I'd be great at it, because that's what I do. And that's
get yourself on soccer, mate.
No, 100. Listen, as soon as my debut on Sky Sports, I am a 45-minute argument with Chris Boyd. I
was convinced there was a blow up on the background there. I don't know what I'm saying.
So soon as we're there, but no, listen, guys, it's been great to have come on. So
pleasure, man. We'll get you back on.
Big man.
I'm still going to tune in, but I'm going to just jump into fucking bed, because I'm up at 7:30 in the morning. I'm getting picked up at 8. So but no, talk, guys. Listen, guys, thank you for having me on.
No problem, Jody. He's a good man. But okay, we'll end in about 5 minutes anyway. I just want to say massive thank you to the 93 people that have been watching. If you haven't subscribed to the channel. Subscribe to the Celtic supporters page on Facebook and the Celtic Appreciation. Before we go, you had an interview with Mr. Thompson last week. How did it go?
Yeah, and I don't know if Dale, I don't know if you've got him on this week or next week.
Next week or the week after, mate. Aye.
Next week, he's really good crack. Obviously, I know you spoke to Jamie already. I tuned into that. I had the two of them on at the same time. It ran for a bit longer than expected. So we kind of called it 90+ minutes with Alan Thompson.
Aye, I watched it. It was really good. I enjoyed it.
It was. I'm hopefully going to go down in Newcastle to an evening with Alan Thompson down at the Irish Celtic Supporters Club thing next month. So I'll probably nip down there and catch up with him. But no, it was a great interview. I got a message back for the maestro in the earlier this morning saying that he can't come on now, but he'll hopefully come on soon. So he's obviously over in Australia, so it's just trying to get names on the now kind of thing, and hopefully take the podcast away for the Celtic side of things, so I can get other people on, because a lot of people don't want to date because it's affiliated with Celtic kind of thing.
That's where I struggle with, mate. But I've got an absolute curveball in the next couple of weeks, which is nothing to do with Celtic. So I'm not want to say too much to know, but
keep us surprised, at the end of the day. It'd be great to see Paul McStay come on. Like the stories.
Brilliant, man.
I think that would be brilliant.
Even I say the stories of the 80s, he'd be able to say as well.
But do you know what? Just to touch on what Dale was saying about earlier on about 90s, growing up in the 90s, I was unfortunately of that age range. That I grew up in the 90s, and I think we won 3 trophies. We reached 2 cup finals. It's you do take it for granted. I think sometimes when you keep winning, when you're winning trebles, it does get a bit like the same kind of thing, and you do kind of look at it and go, oh, they were great days, never great days, but you have to experience the bad times before you can enjoy the good times.
Certainly, mate, certainly. And I think the good times are, if you look at the last 2 decades, it's been absolutely unbelievable. Even going right back to Martin O'Neill's first season, the last 22 years, looking at what they've won compared to us, it's been such a brilliant time to be a Celtic fan, and you can just feel it creeping back with Ange. Don't know how you feel, but the difference for last year is unbelievable. And I've said it before, the relationship with the board's been fucking horrendous, to say it nicely, but
yeah,
they're flying under the radar now, Keith, and long may it continue. I don't particularly want to hear from them and see them in media conferences and doing what they're doing, but keep on signing these players and be quiet. I'm fucking quite happy.
That's it. Like, and hopefully Michael Nicholson can actually get a few of these Deadwood players out by the January, like the end of January. Even if we can take Barkas, Sorrow, Ayeti,
Yeah,
get them boys out. Get them out. Even if to sell to trade them for 5 million
yeah.
combined. I'd like to keep Sorrow. I'd like to keep Sorrow. Put him on a loan move. I don't think the league would suit him. I think going out somewhere to maybe a European League or the MLS just to build his confidence. Because if you go in the league, he's always constantly Celtic fans are going to be looking at him saying, "Oh, geez, he's made of balls again for Dundee or Aberdeen, whoever." So we need to get rid of these players out, and I think Montgomery needs a loan move just to build.
Yeah.
Same with Udagidi, but that's why I put Udagidi in my starting lineup tonight for tomorrow, because I think he needs a game or two before someone will say, right then, we'll take him on loan.
Udagidi's very much like Bobo. I'm looking at that jersey behind you, and I can just imagine Bobo. And when I've seen Udagidi in a Celtic jersey, he's very, very stature-like. He's the way he plays, the way he attacks the ball and attacks a player. I think he's very, very much like Baldy kind of thing.
Aye, I think in the talking about Udagidi and that, I think the guys kind of in between the Colts and the first team squad. I think we need to get them out. I think it's a really, really good move for Shaw.
Young Dembele might have a chance tomorrow.
Yeah. And I think if we're going to put guys out on loan, like Shaw's went to Motherwell, I really like the look of Shaw. I think he'll be a really, really good player. Udagidi as well. But I think the guys that we're looking to keep long term, then certainly loan them to Scottish clubs, the likes of Shaw and that, because it gives them a taste of what they need.
Yeah, kind of like what Chris Oyer done with Kilmarnock.
Yeah, yes, I certainly, and as you said with Sorrow, and even guys like Mikey Johnson and stuff who are going to be on the fringes, then
that'd be perfect with Martin Boyle.
Go abroad. Aye. But Johnson's had a lot of chances. He knows what the Scottish game's all about. So I think more so the guys that haven't been tried and tested in Scotland, it's well worth their while staying. But Sorrow, Mikey Johnson, maybe guys like that, they've maybe got a wee chance to go abroad and see how they get on there.
Like a Lewis Morgan account into Miami.
There you go, mate. Aye, exactly. Aye.
He was a January signing. He was.
Aye. He's done well there. He's been flying there.
He's at Red Bulls now. He's with Paradise.
Listen, you're waking up in America every morning as opposed to waking up in Paisley every morning. So
I agree. Mikey Johnson doesn't have it. I'm one of them against Mikey Johnson.
No, time to go.
I thought when he was at Brenton, when Brendan was in charge, I thought he'd done a decent job coming on as a super sub. But I think too many injuries there, inconsistency. You got to look at the talent that we could play in the left. We could play Kyogo, Maeda, or Jota, and you're saying Mikey Johnson is the answer there. Is he?
I know. James Forrest started in the left on Monday as well. So the options in midfield that we've got in the middle of the park and out wide now are ridiculous. And Karamoko, I think, coming back from such a long injury, it would be good to see him going and loan somewhere and getting 90 minutes, because I think he's actually only got 6 months left in his contract.
I don't think he'll make it at Celtic. I think if it's going to happen, it would happen.
I think
there's a lack of trust there. Maybe
I think he was 16 when he made his debut, wasn't he?
Against Hearts, is it?
You can see the ability the boy's got is absolutely phenomenal. I would love to see him making it, to be honest with you.
I think it's just his height that's a problem with a lot of managers, and maybe just think he's a bit too small. Listen, you could be strong enough, and when you look back to the Hearts, the debut against Hearts, I can't remember if it was Aaron Hickey or something, knocked him in his backside, and he just bounced back up and kept going with the ball, and fans go inside of him kind of thing. So the fans would love to see him in the park, but
I think so.
For me, I don't think the manager's going to have that kind of trust in him.
I think we're mad even talking about trebles, but it can be done. It really could be done, because it's considering we won the League Cup. It really can be done. But with the bread and butter, like someone saying to me the other night, like, do you think we should go for the Conference League? I was like, no, stop talking daft. Like, let's go for the league. The league is the Champions League. Champions League money, 40 million. Yeah. We get to do them disco lights and the Champions League music. Jesus Christ, to be sitting in the pub and there hears me back, me neck be going up.
Aye,
Yeah,
definitely.
definitely. Right, look, we're going to leave it there. I'm shattered. I'm sure you're shattered as well. Look, good luck with the train, building the train tracks. I hope we get you back on soon, Dale. People are saying we should do this more often. Hopefully, we can do it more often. You know,
Definitely, mate.
it's
That
good
was
to
a good
interact.
show tonight. Good show tonight.
It's good to interact with our Celtic podcast, and any other podcasts want to come on that are Celtic related. I'm all welcome to go on. I have no beef with other supporters podcast. I think they're all doing a great job, from Paul and Celtic Fan TV to Paul Jan Dykes with his axe on to Ryan to Irish Mick. They're all doing good. Hell 67. They all doing their own strengths, and at the end of the day, it gives yourself the motivation to come on. Don't doubt yourself. Never doubt yourself. None of us are perfect. We say how it is, no filter.
Yes, certainly, mate.
That's it. But us as get me on your show soon, I'll do it. No problem.
Yes, mate. I'll ping the two of you a wee message if you would be interested in coming on and doing the My Celtic story for a wee interview.
Aye, definitely.
Try and get something organised for the next maybe 2 to 4 weeks if he's a free midweek.
Yeah,
Aye,
I should be over the week of the Conference League match, so I'll see can I pop up to Glasgow and I'll sit there with Gaz and have a cup of tea with you. We'll do it somewhere.
Yes, certainly, mate. That'd be brilliant.
Do it in the Brazen. Yes.
Aye, go for it, man.
That's it. Get that pull-up banner up. He'd be laughing. Once there's a bottle of Budweiser there beside me, and all the DVD in the background, the Martin O'Neill days, I'd be flying.
A live Q&A in the Brazen. What about it? Eh?
That's
it. Yes, mate. Yes, mate.
That's it. You never know. I mean, we might be able to do a ticket only festival at this rate with Judy. Well, a pleasure having you on, folks. Everyone that's watched, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Look, I appreciate it, and please subscribe to their channels as well. Celtic Appreciation page and Celtic Supporters page as well on Facebook. So give it a go. No, don't drink bottle of Bucky. Someone say bottle of Bucky. No,
yes.
No,
Bucky, man, get it into you.
No, don't do Bucky or La. Can't drink the stuff. I drank it once, and I ended up putting my head through a window one night by mistake. we're at a house party. One of the lads came in. I was half cut, peeling over, and one of the lads just tipped me head and went boom straight through the window. So never again with Bucky or La.
I'll tell you a quick one before we go. My mate he's for Harris. He's a big Rangers fan and all the rest of it, and he was out there. He was out on a night out with his mates and all the rest of it, and they went into Tenants Bar. So he's a bit half cut kind of thing. And he says he spotted Neil Lennon standing in the doorway. He says, but I've not really noticed it's him kind of thing. So he says, usual, you go up to a pub and you think there's Dorman, and what's the date? He shows him his ID, shows Neil Lennon his ID, and Lennon kind of looks at him and smirks. And honestly, his mates he says, I was mortified. He says his mates were all taking the piss out. I'm like, telling everybody, he showed Neil Lennon his ID.
Don't tell me Lenny's doing a doorman now. Is it that bad?
We got a weekend work.
That's worse than Marvin Conbury walking in with the brown suit for the Players Awards. Oh God. Well, we'll leave it there. Hopefully it's a win tomorrow. Okay, there's a good.
Yeah.
The only fear is I don't want Julian playing if he's ready to go. Plastic pitch.
Yeah.
Definitely not. But we need I make a few changes tomorrow because we have a big game Wednesday night at Tynecastle. Massive game.
5-0 tomorrow, boys. 5-0 to the hook.
That's it. It's on Premier Sports. If no one knows, it's on Premier Sports. They tagged me in the thing yesterday on Instagram. So Premier Sports. I think coverage starts at 4:30.
Yeah. 5 kickoff.
5 kickoff up in Alloa. The windy Alloa.
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you one thing before we finish. It looks like Broke will be coming up to the league.
Listen. We need it. I'm telling you, we need it.
No way, man.
Dick Campbell in the front of FIFA 23.
Oh, mate, I know. I've seen it all, but listen,
last time we played Alloa, Adam Matthews scored that day.
That's right, aye. But listen, the last time Gretna came up, and I took my boy to a couple of games at Fir Park. There was like 500 people there, and it was on the telly. It was a fucking embarrassment. So, no offence there, bro. Listen, it's a fairy tale story, and how amazing would it be for that club to come up? But nah, no for me. Fuck Dick Campbell under, bro.
I just want to see Dick Campbell in a press conference, honestly, up here. I think
I like him.
So
I like him, mate.
He's so good.
His interviews and that are brilliant. I like the cut his jib. He is good, but
Aye.
I think for the top
He's old
flight
school,
of
isn't he?
Scottish
He's
football-
old school.
Aye, mate, aye.
Right, grand. Well, look, I'll leave it there, folks. I need to get a cup of
Right,
tea.
guys.
Right.
Take care.
Take
No
care.
worries,
All the
Dale,
best.
mate.
Cheers.
See you
Take
later.
care.